At the beginning of the duel, add 20 different XE monsters to your extra deck during what? What the actual Hi, your local dragon lady here, and I don't know whether I should call this a tangent, a tiff, or just me complaining, because I do that, but it is no secret that I'm having a huge issue with Duel Links. I've been complaining about the skills, and, and I've always said that I'm going to keep playing Duel Links until Blue Eyes can't get the legend rank anymore. Then I was saying, okay, I get the legend rank at minimum just to prove that I can still play. But now I think I just play just to get the legend, so that way if there's a major breakthrough in support for Blue Eyes, that at least I don't have to take the trouble to go through bronze, silver, gold, and platinum just to get back to where I was, kind of thing. Because so anyway, anyway, I have been playing during this month to get back to legend, and these skills are just getting flat out ridiculous. Cards are coming out, more Omni Negates being added, and also, just for the record, that Dragoon is a pushover. It's a pushover. Just sick baby chaos on him, bait out that one negate, and boom, you can just bulldozer over him. I have not had any issues with the Dragoon card. I was scared at first because it is a strong card, but in Duel Links, it's actually nothing. That's just me. That's just me. But anyway, back on topic. The skills. They're getting to the point that my main complaint was you could use them multiple times per duel, which I'm against. Initially, I had no issue with skills, providing you can use them hard once per duel. However, Konami seems to be sneaking their way around that. I don't know if they've been listening to complaints, because more skills are becoming more, once per duel, but they are getting sneaky with it, because the Blue Eyes deck that I am using, let's see, Master of Blue Eyes. So they're saying that for skills first and second effect once per duel. So once per duel, but it has two effects, which to me negates the whole purpose. And of course you have to have, like, skills like this, you have to have a total of 15 or more Blue Eyes White Dragon cards in this deck, or cards that mention it. Now here's the second issue I'm beginning to have with the skills. It is forcing decks to almost look the same. Instead of having skills that gives a niche added effect to your deck, such as having using balance or having extra 1,000 life points, now all the skills are revolving around getting a certain boss monster out or playing your deck a certain way, which results in the decks all having to be built the same to accommodate that skill. And maybe you can get creative with, I don't know, 3 or 4 cards, because you gotta remember in Duel Links, you don't get a full 40 deck of cards. You get 20 to 30 to play with. And of course, if you want an advantage, you want to keep your deck as close to 20 cards as possible. So Master Blue Eyes, okay, I got that skill. It's still broken, but I can use those 2 effects once per duel, so essentially still using the skill twice per duel, which I'm completely against. But I have to have an obscene number of Blue Eyes cards in order to use this skill. So instead of having cards that are standard, which is typical, you have to have Blue Eyes cards or cards that mention it. A lot of them. That's like over half of the deck. So this deck is going to look the same if you look at other people's Blue Eyes cards, Blue Eyes decks. Now, this one is using Brian Battle Morph. I've been playing against this deck a few times. This has the obscene add 20 different XE monsters to your extra deck. During this duel, you can only summon fish monster. So, okay, the restriction for this skill is you have to use fish monsters. Review one fish monster in your hand, add to 2 sharks. So not just fish monsters, they had to be sharks. All of these cards are sharks. And after playing against this deck a couple of times, the main deck again looks the same. Fish, sharks. There's, it's not the duelist's fault. It's the skill that traps you in this restriction. So it's discouraging creativity. And I'm not saying it's discouraging competition, because these decks are very competitive, but it's the skill that's kind of forcing you into this corner. Red Eyes Reverse. So this one isn't that bad, but again, it's like Blue Eyes. You only use the skill's second effect once per turn, but the other ones, I guess you can use multiple times, per duel. Well, once per turn. So yes, this skill you can use multiple times a duel. And now, of course, you only need the Red Eyes Black Dragon. But given the way the skill works, I am seeing Red Eyes decks that have mostly the same builds. Very rarely, maybe a few cards in the difference. And, skills like this also encourage people to play the Red Eyes Dark Dragon, which again is nothing. It's only a threat if your opponent were to get out multiple Omni Negates, which I know people in the comments are saying is not as big an issue as I think, but I think it is. Omni Negates should not be in Duel Links. It was the reason why Duel Links was doing well for so long, because if you want to have, I'm not against interruptions, don't get me wrong, I'm not against interruptions. However, it should be 1 card per interruption, and it forces you to use resources to strategize and get out your board carefully. So if you want an effect, if you want a card effect that negates a grave effect, you gotta do the work to get that card out. If you want to negate a back row effect, whether it be a magic or a trap card, then you gotta set that up. A monster effect, like you can do all 3, but you have to work at it, and it gives your opponent a fair shot at being able to break that board or maybe do a single interruption with an effect failure, something like that. But right now it's getting out of hand. I just cannot. It's annoying. The game just isn't that fun anymore. For this reason, and I guess while I'm here, I might as well. While I'm here, the Forbidden List has been released, and it's fairly long, but to my surprise / not surprise, is the Majesty of the White Dragon has been unlimited. Which to me doesn't mean anything, because when they nerfed the card, because of the skill, you only needed this 1 card in your deck anyway. So all it really did was give me more room to add some uniqueness to the deck, if that's possible. So apparently I can add another one to my deck. Not that it matters, because the skill makes it irrelevant. Another thing I want to mention too is I find that they're bringing cards from the TCG fairly quickly, but they're not altering the effects to accommodate the limitations of Duel Links. For example, we have 4,000 life points to work with, unless you want to use a skill to increase it by 1,000 or 2,000 if you're willing to nerf yourself. But take Masquerade, the Blazing Dragon. They did not change this card's effect from the TCG. So your opponent must pay 600 life points to activate card effects. This is ridiculous in a game like Duel Links when you only have 4,000 life points to work with. I understand the whole point is to force your opponent to limit their plays and mind your own life points. But if other cards that have this kind of effect has been nerfed, why isn't Masquerade? To me, it would make sense if Masquerade was nerfed to 300 life points. You pay 300 life points per card effect. That would make sense, but no, they didn't do that. I believe even with the Darkness Metal, I don't think it's here, the Red Eyes, an XC monster that burns you for each card effect you activate. Annoying, but I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that the burn effect has been reduced for Duel Links to accommodate the limitations. So anyway, yes, technically I'm still playing, but it is begrudgingly. My passion for the game just isn't there like it used to be. I haven't played a TCG since maybe last Halloween, and that's because it's kind of a tradition of mine. I enjoy playing the GOAT format in Halloween and dressing up, and I haven't even streamed for maybe a year. I'm sure you've noticed that my streaming, it's just... when the passion isn't there, my motivation to get online to stream isn't quite there either. And I'm not gonna lie, I do miss it. I do, because interacting with everybody, the regular duelists who we just play for fun, so for people who are wondering where I've been, that's the main reason right there. It's just the game is in a poor state, at least to me it is. It's not that fun to play anymore. Duel Links is creeping up is creeping there, and I'm just getting frustrated. But that's just me. Are any of you still playing? How about Duel Links? What's your opinion? Do you think the skills are getting out of hand? Do you think the card effects are getting out of hand? Is it even fun to you anymore? I know I've been complaining about this for a while, but this is just gotten... it's just got to that point I just feel I have to yell at somebody. So I may as well yell at the game, at the screen, and have you all listen. So anyway, this is your little dragon lady saying to be a good sport, to play the game, not the fame. We may get frustrated, but it's just a game. It's just a game anyway. Hope to see you in the next one if I'm still playing. But yes, love you all. See ya.